Welcome to today's show of On the Sideline. A jam-packed day, we will call it, from PSG being decimated on what, German grounds?
Yes.
On German grounds, to Tottenham can't even score a goal in 2 legs. Harry Kane, Kylian Mbappe, two of the most lethal goal scorers in Europe right now, just can't manage to score goals. But anyhow, we can talk a little about Europa League. We can talk a little about, Manchester and Real Betis, which I believe Real Betis will win. But anyhow, we can start with Paris Saint-Germain versus Bayern Munich. Oh, I'm a boy Jaf is here with me today in this tray.
Yeah.
Jaf,
Yeah.
welcome to On the Sideline again, bro.
Thanks.
Yesterday has been wonderful again. Champions League just never seems to ever disappoint.
Yeah.
I was actually telling some colleagues yesterday, I was like, people is praise World Cup football to this level, but then they got some players who play World Cup football that don't play Champions League football, like players from the Saudi League and these things. So I believe Champions League is actually the most competitive league, definitely in the world. But yesterday we see Messi falter. He just do what he's normally do, especially against Bayern Munich. What are your takes from that game yesterday?
Well, first, I'd like to see, one, you can make an argument that the best of players are always in the Champions League because they play for the best clubs, and the best clubs play for the Champions League. So sometimes you might have on the world stage players like the likes of Erling Haaland who might not be there. That's not to take away from the competitive nature of the World Cup. Sometimes you're just born in an unfortunate country. So I don't necessarily want to pedal too much on that. I'm not surprised by what happened yesterday. I mean, for the most part of the game, especially the PSG game, Bayern dominated the second half. PSG failed to make much of the chances that they had. I think now, in hindsight, I think they relied too much on the speed of Kylian Mbappe and the wizardry of Lionel Messi. And if that don't happen, then you need Verratti to do something spectacular, which we've seen throughout the years he is quite incapable of, especially in the big stage. And with a Neymar who might not necessarily be present at every game because of his inability to stay healthy, it kind of impedes the team's ability to progress to success in the Champions League. And let's be real, you don't win the Champions League unless you have depth, and PSG don't have depth. And as much as we talk about PSG quality, is literally in their attack. There's no quality in that midfield, in my estimation. The defense outside of Sergio Ramos and maybe Achraf Hakimi, Marquinhos leaves a lot begging, and the other guys there too. So it's a whole bunch. It's a whole bunch to dissect, and I think Bayern Munich was a superior team.
Yeah, but
in both legs.
PSG though, as we spoke about this few weeks back for the first leg clash, when I actually said, you know what, hey, this team is just a good team. But then when I watched them play yesterday, it's like my whole perspective about this team, you know, as literally, you know, vanished. Because I reiterate, you can't win a Champions League with young Vitinha. You cannot win a Champions League with Marco Verratti, who has over the years played Champions League consistently, and like this man ain't progressing. You understand? And then you got Danilo there, you want to chip in as your holding midfielder, which is fairly a good player. But then they don't have a midfield to actually win games, because if you look at it, there are times when Real Madrid attack would not, you know, function. And then all of a sudden you see Cruz come up with something spectacular, or Modric, and then you see the likes of Casemiro who went to Manchester, and we see things along this nature. So as you said, or as you alluded to, indeed, they rely a little too much on Kili. You understand? And then they believe on the Messi, the old Messi thing.
I think
it's just not working
to
out.
win the Champions League, you got to be deep. Real Madrid is a deep squad. They can throw a lot of guys off their bench in games, and you wouldn't know that those guys are bench players because they can start in most elite teams. Bayern Munich is a very deep side. Chelsea, when they won the Champions League, was a very deep side. They had options, and I think it's important to have options. If Messi becomes tired, say in the 70th minute, can you really substitute Messi? And who you're going to substitute Messi for?
Beyond 70
or let's say Kylian Mbappe becomes injured, unfortunately, during the 80th minute. Can you really throw somebody in that could produce on in relative standards to a Kylian Mbappe because there's not too much people in those stratosphere. And then, of course, you have to have defense. Sergio Ramos is 37, 38.
And he was by far the best player.
And he's by far the best player because he can level the defense, he can play midfield to go and strike. You know, Ashraf Hakimi is incredible, but outside of the two of those guys, trust me, I can't put my money on Marquinhos. I wouldn't put my money on him. The goalkeeper, to me, is still immature. Of course, he won the Euros, but he seems to me a bit indisciplined in some regards, and I don't believe that you can win with the PSG side currently constructed. Of course, sometimes we get lost as fans and we think, okay, you have a Messi or you have a Ronaldo, you can win. But let's be real, if your defense don't function and your midfield don't function, those guys are just as insignificant as any other position on the field. And I think PSG's solution to their problem has been throughout the last four or 5 years is to throw money at the problems. You know, okay, you're getting a bunch of good players free, and then you give them a big salary. Or players come there because they have the money, but then what? You don't have nothing. You know, I was listening to Thierry Henry, and he said, you know, PSG don't have guys from Paris that aspire to play for the Parisian side in the Paris Saint-Germain team. So now, what you have a bunch of guys who it wasn't a goal at no point in their career to be in Paris Saint-Germain. I mean, outside of Kylian Mbappe and some of the guys that grew up in Paris. And we know Kylian Mbappe is not in Paris because to be in Paris Saint-Germain. You know, yesterday Kylian Mbappe said, this is the maximum we can go. So if he's saying this is the maximum we can go, like this was everybody's best, and we still lost to Bayern Munich without scoring a goal over 2 legs. I feel that Villarreal was able to do. So it tells me how good this PSG side is. And when people speak of PSG's quality, they're only speaking of Kylian Mbappe, healthy Neymar, and Lionel Messi. It's nothing else. It's nothing else because there's nothing there. You know, like I said a few weeks on the show, these guys are literally after games in League A, begging their fans not to boo them after games and speaking to you loud because the fans are tired. And you know, when you have guys in your team that it wasn't their aspiration to play to your side, the effort is half-hearted, and sometimes you don't need that. You're going inside of Germany to play the Bavarian champions. You need more than art to win. And to me, the only team that has gone to Germany and play as though Bayern Munich is just another football team on the other side of the field. It's Real Madrid. Everybody goes there and play a little fearful. I mean, Villarreal was lucky, we can say that. 50 shots on no goal is quite an amazing feat. So PSG, to me, they don't have what it takes to become successful in the Champions League. And I believe they know that. They know that.
But I mean, I was watching the game from a lot of angles yesterday. And it's crazy to say that this team is only play one kind of football, and I believe that PSG mistake that they have made recently is when they renew Marco Verratti contract. Put him, I'm not saying he's a bad player. I've never said this. He's a good player, but PSG now look at it. Kylian Mbappe is, I think he must be barely 6 foot or something. He's not. Messi, we know Messi's height, we know Neymar's height. So if now there's a game that goes down to the grade, to the bottom, and then you probably they're gonna need a goal from a set piece. Messi can't do it. The most you could hope Messi to do is score a free kick. You understand? So all these little bits and pieces is what's compromise and make good teams great. Look at Real Madrid against Manchester City last season. Rodrigo stepped up, scored 2 goals. I mean, you see what Cristiano's been doing over the years. So Ramos came up against Atletico Madrid in 2014 under Carlo Ancelotti when he scored that that was called it that stoppage time error that actually took the game to the extra time, and then Real won 4-1. And so with the case, well, it's a team that, as you say, is just motivated by numbers, money, and it's built based on money. Messi and the Neymars and the Mbappe, but I think that this summer we're going to see a major overhaul in PSG's team. Well, we know Neymar is more than likely set to go. I think it's really evident, but I think they should really try to build a young, youthful team around Kylian Mbappe if he chooses to stay. Put in mind, I read something that he said that he has no concern about what next season bring. Right now, he's focused. He's disappointed, but he's more focused in the now.
Yeah.
But at the end of the season, we'll see. And that word in itself, it told me that, you know what, this guy ain't even sure if he want to be here for next season.
Well, look, let's be honest. One, football is war in the sporting arena.
Yeah.
And in war, sometimes the most equipped army or the most expensive army don't always win.
Yeah.
We saw that in Vietnam when America was there as well. So I say that to say, as much as this team is constructed among, it's a rich club, guys are paid nice, you know, financial fair play out of their own investigation because they want to know these guys playing under these wages. That don't necessarily equate to victory in football. And we saw the Galacticos when they were assembled, they didn't win no Champions League. That's because sometimes, you know, you can put all the best players on one team, doesn't necessarily result in trophy. We know why Kylian Mbappe stayed at PSG. He said he stayed for the project, and he believed in this project that PSG has. But I think every expert that analyzes football, they will tell you there's no project at Paris Saint-Germain in relation to winning the UEFA Champions League. It's no project there. And fine, Kylian Mbappe wanted to stay, and I think that's a decision he now have to live with.
Yeah.
I was telling a friend just yesterday, the money Real Madrid offered him was the same thing, minus the power, because he wanted 100% image rights. He wanted a role to decide who can be the new coach. He wanted to decide trades and these sorts of stuff. So, of course, Real Madrid will not give one player that power.
Yeah.
In relation to Marco Verratti and replacement and squad depth, at the end of the day, who wants to go to Paris? Footballers want to go to Real Madrid, Barcelona, Manchester United. Of course, some players want to play for coaches like Klopp and Pep.
Yeah.
Liverpool is a rich club in history as well. So you're going to find situation that arises where they wouldn't be able to attract certain players should those other clubs have interest as well. Because if my goal is to go to Real Madrid and Paris Saint-Germain offer me 500,000 and Real Madrid offer me 200,000, and I know I stand a better chance at winning at Real Madrid, plus it's my boyhood club, I'm going to go to Real Madrid. So they face those sort of dilemmas. So I will have to say, like Thierry Henry, sometimes you have to look to your academy. When Zinedine Zidane took over, he wasn't big in the transfer market, but it took him like 3 years before he lost like 5 games. Like literally, in total, Zidane didn't lose 5 games in less than 3 years. So sometimes you just have to be that radical, trust your young players, and you work with it. You don't know how long more you have Messi for. I think when they signed him was for 2 years. This is the last year on that contract. He probably will extend or he will go to the MLS. We don't know. Sometimes there's some magic of a way he can go to Barcelona because he said he could play for free and Barcelona don't have the money. So, you know, those are situations that are facing them. But like I said yesterday, we knew Bayern Munich was going to beat PSG. We knew it. Bayern Munich, has, for the last 15 years, this is the 13th time in the round of 8. So in the quarterfinals. So we know the quality that this team possesses. The last time they met, I think in 2020, PSG lost the finals to Bayern Munich as well. So, you know, we weren't surprised. But we always expect better when a team possesses Lionel Messi or Kylian Mbappe. And coincidentally, PSG possess both of them, which you can argue on any given day is top 1 or 2 best players in the world of football. So, you know, it wasn't unfortunate. PSG knew they weren't going to win in the German capital. They knew it.
So, quick question. Madrid needs Mbappe or Mbappe needs Madrid?
I think there isn't one player that can say ever in history Real Madrid needed them. Real Madrid has proven, well, maybe with the exception of Cristiano Ronaldo, who I believe Real Madrid needed. They weren't in the semifinals for about 8 years. They never got knocked out less than semifinals in Cristiano Ronaldo time. So maybe you can, in hindsight, say Real Madrid needed Cristiano Ronaldo, but I don't think there's too much of players that you can say Real Madrid need But you can always say players need Real Madrid. And if you're Kylian Mbappe, you already won the World Cup, you already won Golden Ball, you already won the best youth at the tournament, you already won Liga Player of the Year, you already won PSG Player of the Year, you already top scorer. All these different accolades I could literally reel out for Kylian Mbappe. He actually destroyed Madrid with Monaco. But so my point is, there is so much he has already accomplished. The only thing that he has not accomplished so far in his career is something that Real Madrid dominates, which is the UEFA Champions League. So you can't say he needs Real Madrid.
I think though, before we come off this Mbappe topic, I think Madrid though, they should stay as far as they could stay from Kylian Mbappe. Because at this point, if Mbappe goes to Madrid this season or next season or the following season, it's going to look as though he can't accomplish anything at PSG, and Real Madrid is more like a last resort. Because to me, I believe if Madrid come and call me out of Big Smith office now and say, yo, I want you to come and do journalism for Real Madrid, I'd be like, Big Smith, I'm sorry, love you, thanks for the opportunity, Spain. I'm out of here. You understand? Because I believe my dreams can be bad. For the sake of Kili, we always call him Kili on this show, not in representation of Popcorn, but we just call him Kili. But his dreams was actually bought by the French president to come and tricky and then Qatar offer him all of these things, and so be the case. But I think Real Madrid now should go after Erling Haaland, which we've seen his agent came out and spoke in the media. He was like, you know what, hey, once Real Madrid come calling, you leave. You understand? And I think Madrid should go after him. I don't think Madrid need Kylian Mbappe anymore. We've seen this last year in the Champions League when Real Madrid literally, Vinicius literally, destroyed the whole team in the second leg.
In the short run, that is fair. Kylian Mbappe is on the contract for the next 2 years.
2 years.
And the fourth year, I think he can leave, right? So why am I saying that? 3 years from now, Kylian Mbappe is going to be better. He's going to be stronger. He might not be as fast as he is today because he's aging, but he will be, 27, which is the height of any professional career. So Karim Benzema will be 39. Definitely not as good as he is now. He will be there. If he is, mashallah, that is great. So in the long run, I want Kylian Mbappe at Madrid. Fortunately for Kylian Mbappe, he could be the first footballer in Europe that could go on a payroll for $1 billion.
But then it's fair to say that in the next 2 to 3 years also, Rodrigo could also get better. Vinicius could also get more
but then you
crazy.
don't have. Rodrigo plays off your bench predominantly. He can start, but he's predominantly on the bench because you start Valverde up front and you have Camavinga, Cruz, and Modric, who after this season wouldn't be the pair. Or not Camavinga, Tchouaméni, right?
Camavinga.
So next season you're going to see Tchouaméni, Camavinga, and
you probably...
You're going to see Tchouaméni, Camavinga, Valverde. Rodrigo maybe gets the start.
He will start, definitely.
His stats show that he's better off the bench and he's good. So if you get Kylian Mbappe, you also increase your squad depth 3 years down the line. And in the grand scheme of things, Madrid will make changes and they will go for choice. So the squad will become deep. Do I think you need Mbappe 3 years down the line? Think of a better Valverde 3 more years, and you have Vinicius Junior, who to me is already top 7 best player in the world. So you have Vinicius Junior, Federico Valverde, and Kylian Mbappe up front. I can't see a way where my president, who's Florentino Perez, can't make that work.
But I'm saying, I believe though that he also came out and he was like, you know what, hey, Mbappe is going to regret not coming to Madrid last year, and so did it. Camavinga came in January, won the Champions League, won the Super Cup. It could have been Mbappe there too. So I think that Madrid being as big as they are, with so much pride, so much ego, I don't believe Madrid is going to.
I don't think there's ego. Ronaldo didn't go the first time Madrid came, but he went the last time. So it's like, I'm not disputing what you're saying, but I'm saying football is business. Kylian Mbappe sells a lot. Only Neymar, Ronaldo, and Messi sell more. So
I believe Erling Haaland will sell a lot once he goes over to the Spanish capital. That's
Erling Haaland is good, but
that guy is a goal scorer.
He is, and you can't take that away from Erling Haaland. But I think if you have the money right now and you have a choice to choose between Kylian Mbappe and Erling Haaland, you will definitely take Kylian Mbappe because he actually does more. You know, and Erling Haaland has slowed down his scoring rate, which everybody predicted. You're going to get fatigued, you're going to get tired. There will be defensive schemes that will impede your scoring ability. You know what? They haven't found out how really to stop Kylian Mbappe. Unless his team performs poorly, then of course it tells on him, but like against the Bavarian Giants. But if his team play, we saw when he came on off the bench in the first leg, he was more of a threat than anybody else.
But then we should also remember that he had Neymar there with him also. So then we cannot just justify the fact that, oh, it's a ski and Mbappe come and make it change.
No, it's definitely not. It's definitely not. But if you're 24 and you're scoring 8 goals in a World Cup, it means you're something special. I don't think there's much 24-year-olds, regardless of which team they're in, that could give you 8 goals in the World Cup.
Man, you ain't even going to tell me number World Cup right now, because he scored 3 goals against a team that really win a World Cup via penalty. And even when we going to touch on the World Cup, it's done gone. History class is definitely on Wednesday. Those are yesterday things. So we ain't even going to touch on World Cup. Anyhow, Tottenham Hotspur, AC Milan, no goals from Tottenham. Antonio Conte hasn't won around the 16 games since 2013. He hasn't won a knockout stage game, and that was against Celtic. What's wrong with that team?
A lot of things is wrong with Tottenham. I think the only team that has been more poor or equally as poor as Tottenham since January has been AC Milan. Let's be real. And fortunately, they pit them together.
Good.
So it was always going to be a very poor tie in my estimation. It wasn't eye-catching. This is good to see AC Milan back in the knockout stages and advancing to the quarterfinals of the Champions League. We know historically AC Milan has been a great team. But let's be real, AC Milan has been the better of the sides in the 2 legs. I think yesterday Tottenham was atrocious. It's ridiculous to see the way they play. I'm not too sure that's indicative of the coach. I will lay some blame at Antonio Conte, who I believe should have been able to rally his troops. He hasn't. To not advance so long in the Champions League for all those years, like you mentioned, is absolutely ridiculous as a coach. And Antonio Conte is not a coach that didn't add good sides. This is a man that managed Chelsea, managed Juventus, I think it was.
And AC Milan at one
point. So that's definitely ridiculous. But Tottenham has been atrocious. Yesterday it was a mess. If I'm to say, I'm actually underscoring what I want to say, but it was a mess by the Londoners. I think they finished the game with a red card as well. They didn't look like they intended to even equalize the tie. The game in itself, they had no goals. So, you know, that tells you a story. AC Milan definitely didn't come to just defend the attack. They had some great chances. But Tottenham has been atrocious. Richarlison said, you know, he doesn't quite understand what the coach wants to do, because the coach is in training. The coach have him on the starting team, and then when the game starts, he's on the bench. So maybe Antonio Conte is to blame to some extent. But when you have players like the quality, like Perisic, Betancourt, Harry Kane, Son, and all these guys, not like these guys are starters for the international teams, and they play for good teams. Uruguay, Japan, Korea, England, Brazil. Richarlison starts for Brazil.
Yeah, but why you can't start in the team then?
So, you know, when you have players that quality, you should advance. But let's be real. AC Milan, I mean, outside of from January to now, they were playing good football up until January. And you know, it's good for them. I'm not surprised. The only reason why Tottenham losing to AC Milan will be big media is because Tottenham is an English team. And the English media always seems to over-exaggerate. I mean, who Tottenham recently lost to? Wolves. You know, I mean, Tottenham will beat Chelsea because everybody beating Chelsea. But they lose to Wolves, so let's be real. Tottenham isn't a great side. At least they haven't shown this season that they are a good side.
Let me tell you straight up. Every English team is going to get knocked out with let's just not mention Manchester City. They're the only English team that is going to stick in this Champions League and probably make it to the semi-final. Just for a lot of reasons, Erling Haaland, and Pep plays a different kind of football. Pep is the only English team that doesn't play English football. You understand? And we see when teams like Liverpool and so on come with the jokey football with them is one come, but them is get beat 5 and 6. Up now them can't beat Madrid anymore. Must how much years now?
Yeah,
and every time Salah come, oh, he got score for settle. I don't understand what score
since 2009.
2009. 2019?
9.
He got score for settle. Since when he went to Rome, he just can't happen to beat Madrid. So every English team is going to go, and I'm going to look directly and say this. I don't know why people is overhype and over exaggerate the English media, but until you could call one person who win a Ballon d'Or or a FIFA the best award in the last 10 years, then you could contradict my mind or actually try to tell me, hey, this English league is something good. As of now, I think you should have put the Farmers League.
Yeah, but I don't think that's indicative of the quality of players in England. Because when you look at the Ballon d'Or, it's always forward laden, and the best forwards for the last quite a number of years haven't been in England.
Yeah.
You're talking about Ronaldo, Lewandowski, Benzema, Messi, Kylian Mbappe, Luis Suarez outside of the year when he played for Liverpool that didn't win the Premier League. So the best of forwards weren't in the Premier League, and the award is being given to forward for quite a number of years. So I don't think that's indicative of the quality. If we want to look at the team of the year composition, then we can say maybe England don't quite have the level, the quality of players. Because when you look at the team of the year for the last 50 years, they were, outside of when Liverpool won and onwards, you didn't find quite much players in the team from England. So that's another indication of the quality. But when you look at Virgil van Dijk, Mo Salah, and those guys, I think those guys are quality players. Top players.
Top players, but top players. At the end of the day,
Kevin De Bruyne is a top player.
Luka is a midfielder.
Alisson is a top player. Well, and the only reason why Alisson isn't making the team of the year is because it's hard to make. Thibaut Courtois is the best goalkeeper in the world. So, or Manuel Neuer, that could change. But, you can't really see that England doesn't possess the quality.
Jokey football, bro. One team is playing at 13 Champions League. I mean, anything different. 14. This year going to make it 15 for certain. Nobody can tell me anything different. But let me just step into Europa League real quick. Manchester United coming back after that 7-0 demolition. I see them actually drawing today or losing to Real Betis, which I see Spanish opposition coming out on top again. I mean, Europa League has been a Spanish thing. We can look at Sevilla, we can look at Villarreal, and we can look at teams along the nature. So I don't believe Manchester wins today. It's just my opinion. A lot of people made it for and think, you know what, hey, Eric Ten Hag is going to come back and get a little redemption song thing. But I think Liverpool really show up this man tactics and show up his style of play, and Villarreal, Real Betis is just going to add, salt to the
let me be honest with you. Manchester United will win the Europa League. And the only team that stands in their way is Arsenal. Arsenal will definitely present to United a bigger challenge. However, United, they're in high spirits. They have the quality in the side. They have the depth in the side. They have a very, very, very brilliant coach who is assertive, knows what he wants, and the fan base is behind them. I don't think when you have all those stars aligned, you lose. Of course, Real Betis has been a good side. I think they got a draw from Real Madrid recently at home. So it's possible. Anything happens when the whistle blow. The football match don't end until the fat lady sings, and all these fables that they have. What the nature of the situation is, Manchester United is a better side than they were yesterday. They are a better side than they were last season. Of course, Liverpool did beat them badly. Of course, Manchester City did beat them badly. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Liverpool and Manchester United and Manchester City are very, very, very good quality teams. So, of course, you're going to lose to Liverpool and Manchester City, who, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Those are quality teams. Of course, they're not going to win every game. Of course, they are going to get results that don't necessarily go in their favor, but that happens on a football field. But when you look at the quality of Liverpool's side and you look at the quality of Manchester City's side, you're supposed to lose to those teams, regardless of who you are. So Of course, those things happen, and I think that was actually good for United, for them to actually see in this whole fairy tale that, you're not invincible, you can lose, and losing to Liverpool at Anfield is not that bad. I mean, of course, the margin of defeat might be a little embarrassing, but it's not bad to lose to Liverpool and City.
Before we go, did you watch the new Creed yet?
No.
Well, you should watch it.
Yeah,
it's a very good movie.
For sure.
Michael B. Jordan, or whatever his name is. It's a really good movie.
Yeah.
I look at the amount of money that they get back from this $1 million globally.
Yeah.
And I can just tell you this before we go. Dame Anderson, which was the other character, came out of jail and he fought a boxing match for revenge. He fought the thing that, hey, whatever happened in the past and whatever reason I go to jail for, I want to come back now and I want to make up for it. Reason why me using that analogy now is that Manchester United is going to fight for sure the fans that, hey, the 7-day, what happened there was just it's like, it's not a thing of we. It's not something that, we would allow for happen on a regular. Well, basically it's like a mistake.
Yeah.
We just didn't show up the day. And then I think, bro, there is where Real Betis is going to cash in, because Manchester is going to come and show everything, especially at a team that is good defensively in the Spanish league in Real Betis. We, if you've been watching La Liga football, you could have seen that Real Betis is, I think it's either third or the fourth rank as the lowest team. Oh no. The third or the fourth best, defensive team in La Liga. Yeah. So this is a team that knows to sit back and be composed and try to hit you on attack with guys like Nabil Fekir, with guys like William Jose, and they got a guy who was about 41 in oh my God, what's his name is? Oh, and I can remember him as we talking. He's about 41 and he's out there, playing, good. Oh, Joaquin. He's out there playing good football. So I mean, don't get me wrong, I say, man, you can't win, but today they're winning for certain. I see Real Betis going to take probably a draw, or I see Real Betis winning. And again, we can start the prediction thing because over the World Cup I've been so accurate. I've been so accurate.
2-0 Manchester United.
All right, let's go. I see Real Betis winning, drawing that game 1-1, or let's say probably they're going to win it 1-0. Yeah. Let's see how it goes. Well, we've come on to a wonderful end to on the sideline today. As we started already, we spoke about Kylian Mbappe, we spoke about PSG, we spoke about Tottenham lackadaisicalness in front of goal, and we touched on that team that got that 7-0 demolition, hoping that they could, spark a comeback like the Bible talk about Jesus. Well, let's see how it goes. Thank you guys for tuning in on Focus. Thanks to my technical operator Cleveland James for producing such a wonderful show today. Until next time, guys. Bye.
Trifina, how you could get yarning on today's pension day?
I collect my pension and went to the market since the 23rd.
How you mean?
I tell you, Levy switched to lodgement. Since me last book finished, I switched.
You join up a lodge, was this lodgement?
Oh, the NIS lodgement system allows pensioners to get their pension into their bank account. The money is paid into the account by the 23rd of the month, so you could withdraw it whenever you like.
So wait, I ain't got for join no long line. Why you ain't tell me before?
I told you, Cleo. When you go to submit your life certificate, ask them for the allotment application form. When you complete it and the bank verify it, then NIS is going to process it. After they process it, your money will be in your account.
Well, all right, I going there now.
And don't forget, when you're carrying your life certificate, ask them for the lodgement application form.
For further information, please visit the website at www.nis.org.gy, the National Insurance Scheme Facebook page, or your nearest NIS office.